called the ARTery, built between 1915 and 1916. And it was designed, of course, used for many of the original years for a wide variety of purposes, spanning from military uses to Parks and Rec using it for basketball, to performances by Duke Ellington, and many other different performers, Ray Charles, Janis Joplin, the Allman Brothers during its heyday. We know that the arts have a huge economic impact on our city. We know because of all the studies that the Cultural Council shares with the city, and different universities in the area have been commissioned to study millions of dollars being pumped into our local economy through arts and through arts engagement. We also know that we have an opportunity here with the ARTery to take an eyesore and turn it into something that can revitalize part of the Springfield neighborhood. That can become one of the jewels of the city, one of the jewels of Springfield, and something that we can all be proud of. The CEO of the Kretzky Foundation said this quote, and I loved it, so I wanted to share it tonight. Rick Rapson, and he said, "By hitching creative placemaking to urban opportunity, we are trying to ensure that arts and cultural activities stand front and center in the effort to revitalize and reimagine some of America's most disinvested places. We believe that rather than standing outside the community development fence line and looking in, arts and culture can step inside it and join a multi-textured fabric of land use, housing, transportation, environmental, health, and other systems necessary for stronger, more equitable, and vibrant urban places." So the ARTery features 3 floors and approximately 82,000 square feet of space. It's located at North Market and State Street. Raise your hand if you've been past it. Okay, good, so you all know where it is. And raise your hand if you have at least some familiarity with the ARTery project, just so I know my audience. Okay, there we go, fantastic. So the ARTery has stood vacant since 2010 when the Jacksonville Parks and Rec vacated it. It's had a host of issues related to being vacant and because of the age of the building, and also because of flooding caused by Hogan's Creek issues. So the basement, there's a lot of mold issues, a lot of flood remediation work that has to be done. There is a hole in the roof near the stage, so the floor is starting to buckle near the stage, which once again proudly hosted many performers in its heyday. And about a year and a half ago, 3 partners came together: the Art Center Cooperative, the Art League, and the Performers Academy, all 501c3 nonprofit art-centric organizations. And they had sat down together during some of the JACS 2025 meetings, and they looked at what can we do together to revitalize the community through the arts. What is a project we can really take ownership of and do not on our own, but through collaboration, because we know that through collaboration, great things can be done. So they began to work together and formalize a process. They formed a founding committee, and they started having talks with the city and with different organizations about this building, the ARTery. The current estimate that City of Jacksonville has provided us with is for approximately $9.6 million in total, which can be a scary number, to refurbish and renovate that building. Unfortunately, we don't know, based on everything they've given us, whether the details for that number relate to other projects that were under consideration in the past, which are no longer under consideration, or what that might entail. We are now in the process of working with LISC, working with the city, and we've had a strong support of Dr. Johnny Gaffney. We're very pleased to have that support. Obviously, we're here tonight in part because we're very excited about the support of the SPAR Council for this initiative, and looking forward to working with Groundwork Jacksonville as well to see how we can work together and collaborate on projects in that particular area. We're also working with different colleges and universities. We've started a partnership that's in the infancy with AIA, working with their emerging architects, and this is really going to be a community project. We certainly can't do it by ourselves, any of these organizations. It will take the entire community. The current plans to transform 82,000 square feet of space, which I know sounds like a huge number. Why do you need that much space? A lot of people ask us. Because of everything that we want to do and everything we want to transform it into, and how we want to pull in other organizations to be able to use that space. So we're looking at a 500-seat theater, with portable seating, a stage, which we would build an apron in front to pull out the stage a little bit more to the front. There are some dressing rooms already in the back that need to be refurbished. We need to make some of the bathrooms ADA compliant. There is a mezzanine that over the stage area, which could have additional seating if we have a larger audience. It could be used for everything from concerts to theatrical productions to a host of different dance companies in the area, traveling dance companies coming through. It could be something that we all go to for ticketed events, for local artists to showcase their talents, as well as visual artists, because we will have working art studios where people throughout the community and traveling and coming off of 95 can hop off of 95 to actually walk into the Artery, past glass-walled studios, and see the artists at work, and then purchase their art in a gift shop, see the art on display in a gallery, again featuring local professional artists, and then have the opportunity to really spend the day where their kids perhaps could be taking a dance class or a drama class, or sitting in on a visual arts workshop, something free for them to participate in while they're browsing the gift shop. So there are a lot of opportunities here to transform this into something that is really special. We've also talked with some organizations like Jewish Family and Community Services and others that want to start art therapy classes there and a host of other classes. So we're really excited about what this could become. So we're looking at a few things which will also be on that one-pager. Arts education, obviously. Professional development for artists and teaching artists in the area and teachers. We're looking at the economic impact from bringing in a lot of different part-time and contracted employees, and obviously providing all these artists with an opportunity to showcase their wares. There's a huge wait list, as many of you know, for Cork and for other art studios in the area, and this will provide an opportunity for very low-cost access to emerging artists and professional artists who've been here for quite some time and need a space to be able to showcase their wares and continue to hone their talents. We will also provide rental studio space and performance venues and host ongoing visual and performing arts shows. So over the next few months, what's going to happen and what do we need? Okay? So here's the call to action. We're going to move forward very quickly over the next few months. We have a memorandum of understanding between these three organizations. We've been meeting regularly every week, every 2 weeks, for hours at a time to hammer out all the details. We've been visiting the space several times a month, looking at the space, along with working with some in-kind partners from local corporations that many of you know, who have generously donated their time to help with the plans for this. And we were at One Spark, where we came in number 4 in the art category, and we were one of the top vote getters out of over 610 projects, I believe. And I want to give a huge round of applause to everyone in this room, because I know many of you voted, and some of you might have even tried to vote twice. So thank you very much for your support of the Artery. We were located on at the Art Center Cooperative space. I know many of you stopped by. Some of you might have even drummed. We were drumming up until very late. I know I had to sleep for an entire week after that. So what we need is, we need volunteers. We need people who are committed, who would like to join a committee. It could be fundraising. It could be community engagement and volunteer engagement. It could be you have a specialty in building interior design. Maybe you're an architect. Maybe you're someone who's worked in the arts education space and you would like to help with the design plans. We need you to stay engaged. So if you look at that one-pager, we have a Twitter page, we have a Facebook page, which now has 724 likes, and hopefully by the end of tonight we'll have 815. So please like us on Facebook. We also have a website. All of this can be found by looking up the Artery Jacks. Again, the Artery Jacks. There are other arteries, but there is only one Artery Jacks. We also are going to have a performing arts survey and a visual arts survey. And we would ask that you encourage your friends and relatives to stay engaged. So if you were at One Spark and you said, hey, I know you're my neighbor. Have you heard about this thing, the Artery? Why don't you cast a vote? It's a great thing for the Springfield neighborhood. You were getting others to get engaged, and that's what we need moving forward, because we're going to be working with City Council for legislation to be able to lease the space in a long-term lease, and to be able to transform it, revitalize it, and turn it into something that, again, that we can all be proud of. And finally, none of this can happen, as you can imagine, without money. So we also appreciate donations, and we are going to be launching early next week an Indiegogo campaign. So we do ask you, if you are able to give, or to ask others who you know who can give, or if you work for a corporation or business that's interested in sponsoring, we're going to be offering some unique opportunities to showcase and honor those who give to this project, the ARTery. Again, my name is Jeff Smith. I'm with the Performers Academy. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them afterwards. We have Ed Molesky here, who is with the Art Center Cooperative. And there's, again, several students and parents who were here earlier. And we're very proud to be a part of this project and to be here tonight. So thank you very much. And is there, I think I have time maybe for one or two quick questions. Are there any questions? I apologize if I talk quickly if you didn't catch them.
What is the relationship you currently have with the city council and the city? And where does that need to go?
That's a great question. So on several occasions we've met with City Council. I know many of you might know that there were other organizations also vying for use of that space, and so we advocated, and many of you came out in droves to City Council meetings and voiced your support for this project, and we deeply appreciate that. So we've had ongoing talks with several City Council members. We're going to be meeting with them again over the next few months and presenting an updated business plan, and as I said, working to get legislation sponsored so that we can make sure that we're able to move quickly and effectively into a long-term lease and start renovations and start fundraising on a much bigger level so that we can transform the space. We've also been working with LISC to secure some financing, both in loans and grants, and looking to secure additional support from organizations like the Community Foundation and obviously donors throughout the community.
Can I just add just a little bit to that? When we were dealing with the city council last year, and we went to Dr. Gaffney the first time to ask him about sponsoring the legislation, which is, he's the guy who is going to initiate legislation for us to do this. He required us to talk to everybody, every council person. And so during that process, okay, we found out about the Sons of Confederate Veterans and that program that they were trying to do and all of that, but we also had to talk to every council person. So everybody is aware of this. Now we know that 11 council people are either turning out or something next year. So we talked to Dr. Gaffney, and he is one of them. So about the plan to when we have to do this to get it within this council. He has told us that he currently has enough votes to pass it this year, all right, before they get too involved in either re-election campaigns or something else. So the other thing that we were really focusing on when we were dealing with him was that we had to make we made such a case about the lack of a substantive business plan for the Sons of the Confederate Veterans, which was the real reason that was killed in the end. We know now we just can't stroll in with the same quality business plan that they had. It just won't fly. We raised too many questions. So what we have been focusing on is trying to establish a really tight business plan that can prove that we can maintain business substantively for a long time. The other thing is our plan, their plan was only to use 5,000 square feet. Our plan is to utilize the whole 82,000 square feet. We were going to do it more in phases, all right, but one of the things about in phases, the basement is the most area that needs most development. It's 30,000 square feet, but it is the one that is prone to flooding. But we know we have to get financing, we have to have a solution for flooding right from the beginning. So since that has to be the beginning, we're going to do the prettying up of the second and third floor, all right, to turn them into real classrooms and workshops and studio space and the big gallery in the front and the performance area. Down below, there are some places, as soon as flooding is taken care of, could move right in as art studios. But a lot of it is going to be like, think of it as a downtown Cork. If any of you have been into Cork, you know a lot of that space was not developed. It's been developed by the artists that are there. And we have a lot of spaces that we could do that too. So I'm done, Jeff.
I think that's all we have time for, and I deeply appreciate it. Oh, wait, one more question. Let me quickly.
How does your plan relate to the proposals for Snyder Memorial and Hemming Plaza, which is a wonderful concept?
Exactly.
also?
Yeah, so of course, Friends of Hemming Plaza, as you all have read recently, great plan with Wingwood and others to transform that space and to run different activities. We also have obviously different projects like the Riverside Project. We have Amplify working to transform Snyder Memorial, which is focused on, they're working on recording studios and different music production programs for children and for adults. And many of you might have read that, and they were one of the top vocators, I think the top vocator at One SPAR, so they did a terrific job. Ours is unique because we're going to have visual art studios, and we'll have classrooms for dance, drama, music. So we are going to encompass all of the arts areas. Also, Snyder Memorial is much, much smaller. It would be impossible, and we looked at that space. We also looked at other spaces like the Claude Nolan building and others downtown. It would be impossible to fit all the items that we want to fit based on our needs in any of those spaces. So it is something we're trying to look at. Obviously, again, it's a big number, it's a big space. But this is the space, if we're going to do it, we want to do it right, okay? And we're bold. We have a bold vision, and everybody involved in this project is bold. So if you're bold, and you want to be bold, join us, okay, on this journey, because it's going to be really exciting to see this come to fruition.